my name is Shayna Nungarai, and today I'm going to be walking you through the NQJ Iceberg. What started as a stupid YouTube account made by 3 freshmen surprisingly has a lot of odd behind the scenes and disturbing theories behind it. If you don't know what an iceberg list is, it's essentially a big chart of tiers of different theories, conspiracies, and Easter eggs around a certain topic. The further down we go, the more obscure it becomes. Let's begin. Quinn leaving. After How to Taekwondo was filmed, Quinn was kicked out of NQJ by Nathan and Jacob. The reasons were that Quinn never took anything seriously and would always make it harder to film, along with almost never coming up with any ideas. Thus, he was kicked out of the channel. He has, however, still made some cameos every now and then. He was actually going to be a main player in Mall Maniacs 4, but was replaced with Isaiah for an unknown reason. Nil. Nil was a now-deleted skit on NQJ. It was meant to be a serious horror film directed by Quinn. The video was not a success, much to Nathan and Jacob's dismay. Quinn kept talking about sequels, so the boys gave in and filmed Nil 2, which did worse. Once Quinn started listing ideas for Nil 3, it helped fuel the fire as to Quinn being kicked out. JNJ Productions. JNJ Productions was a short-lived attempt at a channel rebrand. With Quinn gone, Johnny was to take over Quinn's main role, and their first skit was Yell. The name never stuck, and they just went back to NQJ, even with Quinn being gone. Mr. Facebook 2. Mr. Facebook 2 is a skit that simply doesn't exist to many people's surprise, being the only NQJ Renaissance video to not have a sequel. A sequel was finished and completed, but was deleted for how low quality it turned out. Nathan was stated that Mr. Facebook 2 will be remade eventually. James. James is a running gag in the Yell series and has become such an interesting piece of lore. Being the previous owner of the car lot, the Yell guy has held him hostage for seemingly no reason at all, and is sometimes heard crying in the distance of Yell 2 and 3. He does, however, make a face reveal in a Yell 3 after credits. The NQJ Wipe. The NQJ Wipe was an event Nathan refers to when he went back and deleted all of the videos that were exceedingly bad and wanted to someday remake. Around 10 official skits were deleted in the NQJ Wipe. These include Nil, Nil 2, Mother Forker, Mr. Facebook 2, Lost Dog, High Fructose Depression, Dolphin 4, Anime Sucks, and Cookie Travel. Dear NQJ Fans. Dear NQJ Fans is a video that shows every skit's credits at the time, followed by a thank you. It was made as just an overall appreciation post for all the big fans of NQJ. It also was meant to be the final video on the channel, but obviously was not. Every skit is connected. It has become a proven fact that all skits take place in the same universe around the same time. This is proven in Yell 3 when the characters meet, and in Taekwondo 3 when the IRS paper Bong Bong receives is actually signed and written by the Yell guy. Dr. Pepper 2 Origins. Long before NQJ was a thing, when Nathan was in middle school, him and a friend named Chad were tasked to make a short film for a school project. It was about a salesman harassing someone to buy a fake product called Dr. Pepper 2. It was an abysmally low-quality video that never saw a public release. However, around 6 or 7 years later, Nathan decided to remake Dr. Pepper 2. Some of the lines in the new version were recycled word for word from the original. Yell 3. Christmas. Yell 3 was originally going to be a Christmas skit released in December 2018. The first 5 minutes were made, but it was cancelled because it had no direction or plan. The raccoon from Dumb Factor 3 was to return in it as the main antagonist. Dolphins with Reed. Director's Cut. This is referring to the fact that in Dolphins, the complete series, Dolphins 3, is heavily edited and improved, dubbing it the Director's Cut. Foresight differences. The skit Foresight is dramatically different compared to its other skits, having actors, locations, and editing techniques that never returned. This was because Foresight was actually Nathan's submission for a short film contest for school. The rules were that it had to feature a character named Parker Malone, a fortune cookie driving the plot, the line, "Now look at what you've done." And it had to be a satire thriller. It was filmed using professional cameras and professional editing software. Ace's Thick Pizza. Ace's Thick Pizza is a skit that Nathan has tried to make for years now, and every time it gains traction, something goes wrong and cancels it. The skit has been canceled 3 separate times. The plot is a phone call between a pizza shop owner and a lonely woman. It's meant to mock generic porn scenarios where the phone call is full of sexual innuendos, where the woman acts overly sexual. However, when the pizza guy comes to deliver it, the whole mood changes as she really just wanted a pizza all along, pays for it like normal, and it just ends there. It's heavily similar to the Cyanide and Happiness short, where the same thing happens, except ending differently. Ricky Berwick is canonically dead. When filming the NQJ Thanksgiving special, Nathan and Jacob were fortunate enough to have Ricky Berwick guest star. But with typical NQJ fashion, it ends with Ricky killing himself. What makes it so interesting is that right after the video was released, Ricky actually posted his own video of him jumping off a building and killing himself, accidentally making it canon because Nathan's food was too fire. Half-eaten pizza. In Yell 2, there is just half-eaten pizza that Nathan and Johnny run into. It's never mentioned who it belonged to, it's just there. Mentioned and then never talked about again. What makes it so interesting is that it doesn't seem to belong to the Yell guy, as he didn't know it was there because he also didn't know Smash Bros was hooked up. And it can't be James because he's trapped in a separate room. This means that there could be a secret third member of the car lot who is never shown. Spider-Man Part 2. NQJ's take on an already existing property is their take on Spider-Man. The skit is infamous for its cliffhanger ending that has never been resolved. That's pretty much it. It's just a video with a massive cliffhanger that never continued. Jacob's death and prank war. The last 2 players remaining standing in the prank war are Jacob and Quinn. However, the skit ends with Quinn celebrating his victory and then also dying. What happened to Jacob? Well, his death was actually filmed. However, it didn't make it into the final video. And thus, he simply vanishes, leaving Quinn as the victor. Dream World Hidden Penis. This is simply rooting to the fact that in the distance, a big red penis can be seen on top of a building. Very mature. The Leprechaun Hat. In the beginning of Yell 2, during the bathroom scene, a green leprechaun hat can be briefly seen in the bathroom sink. It doesn't play any role and never makes an appearance again. When asked, Nathan said he actually doesn't remember why it was even there. It wasn't part of a deleted scene or anything, it was just there. Sharks with a Z. Sharks with a Z is a parody of Dolphins with a Z, created by Ego Leo. The video isn't canon, and Nathan even makes a cameo appearance. Winnebago X. Winnebago X is the name of a very creepy fan channel that idolizes Nathan, Quinn, and Jacob. The channel features gems such as The Boys Who Stole My Heart, the NQJ rap, My Loves, Nathan and Jacob, and more. To this day, nobody involved with NQJ knows who this person is and probably never will. Fingerbang 2's deeper meaning. Fingerbang 2 is an odd video completely hitting people out of left field by its dark subject matter and depressing music. It actually has 2 secret meanings behind it, both real to the actor and to the character. The real one is that it was filmed the day Nathan left his first job, leaving behind all his friends he met there, which is why it opens inside a restaurant and shows his hat being thrown down. The second is that the character is all alone. After his friends died in part 1, he's now all alone and decides to kill himself to be with his friends once more. Dream World Negative Aura. Dream World has a very negative, scary feeling to it, and it's hard to explain why. A lot of people who watch it also have this feeling. The main guess is that it is a very dark skit. Literally. A lot of shots are filmed in complete darkness aside from the focus of the scene, as also Nathan and Jacob seem to be completely alone in a pure silent house while it's heavily snowing outside, not to mention the entire nightmare scene. and a huge factor that we will get into later, 80s Dead and Nuthead International. These 2 points are combined into one for this because they're about the same topics. For his own personal channel, Quinn made his own skits that didn't involve Nathan or Jacob at all. 80s Dead is a very unique video, and Nuthead International is another skit by Quinn where Nathan and Jacob do make brief cameos. Nathan has said he's not a fan of the videos, especially 80s Dead, for its low quality and complete ripoff of the old school NQJ style of doing credits, and wishes that he wasn't in Nuthead International. Bong Bong's powers. In the series How to Taekwondo, the character Bong Bong is essentially the sad sack of it. A worthless idiot with no talent who's just used as a punching bag for Scott Scrotum. However, at the end of Taekwondo 1, it was shown that Bong Bong has random Dragon Ball Z-esque powers. It's never brought up or mentioned ever again, leading to the theory that Bong Bong is just pretending to be stupid and he's actually very powerful. After Scott's death in Taekwondo 3, he suddenly matured and becomes the voice of reason, furthering the claim. Nathan versus Jacob. Throughout 2019 and the first half of 2020, Nathan and Jacob underwent a huge beef, revolving around a toxic person in their lives, splitting the two apart. This is why the annual series Yell completely skips over 2019. It is also why Jacob is entirely absent during Foresight. The two ended up making peace and getting rid of said toxic person, and the first video they made together reunited was Mall Maniacs 3, the Yell 2 threat. During the production of Yell 2, Nathan and Jacob noticed a channel called The Yell Guy, thinking it's an extreme fan who literally made a channel for a character they created. It was the farthest from wholesome. The cover photo of the channel somehow was able to predict the exact date of Yell 2's filming day, starting October 20th, 2018. The night you film, be ready, followed by a scary face. The channel had one video, and all it was just a screenshot of Google Maps where the person managed to find the exact spot of the Yell car lot, followed by slowed down footage of Nathan and Johnny walking in black and white. Nathan was able to get in contact with the creator of the channel, and she apologized and said it was just a joke that went too far. The Mall Maniacs shooting. Between the events of Mall Maniacs 3 and 4, the mall that the series takes place in was actually shot up by a person in a clown mask, killing one. Video of shoppers running frantically out of the mall, as well as CCTV of the victim, no longer exist, and all that remains are blurry screenshots. Raggedy Ann. We end the iceberg on probably the darkest entry on here, going back to Dreamworld having a negative aura and Spider-Man never having its part 2, is that the house in which those skits take place is proven to be haunted. Jacob and his relatives have their own stories about ghosts in that house involving a little boy. A Raggedy Ann doll in the basement of the house has always gave off weird vibes. It sits on a ledge in the same room the ends of both Dreamworld and Spider-Man take place. As a joke and genuine curiosity, Nathan suggested recording the doll. Jacob propped his phone up and recorded a 3-hour video of the doll, but during the video around the 2-hour mark it moves once. Here is the clip taken. Nathan and Jacob understandably freaked out and showed everyone they knew. No one believed it, saying its whole side is facing away from the camera. So Jacob recorded it again, facing the camera way closer and dead on. Another 3-hour video was taken, and by extreme chance it does move again about an hour in. Here is the second video. Nathan and Jacob promise the videos aren't fake and genuinely shows the doll moving on its own twice. Nathan has never went back to that house and refuses to come back. hence why there is no Spider-Man 2, or a skit of any kind there since. So that wraps up the NQJ Iceberg. If you made it this far, we just want to say thank you. And remember, it's not gay if you say you're just kidding.
What you know about